Hey, I'm Adam Thompson. Today I'm going to talk about one of the reasons why your organisation feels like a stressed out all over the place mess. I'm going to give you some basics. Okay, we've got ourselves a 4-lane freeway going along here. Here's our lanes. That looks like a 3-lane freeway. Let's make it a 4. And that's going to work fine, okay? We're going to have our cars lined up here like that. There's our cars going along the freeway. And it's all going to go good until we hit some roadworks. And when we hit the roadworks, it's now going to go down to this. There's a guy called Tiago Forte who did this on his on one of his blogs and actually explained it really well. But naturally, when we're at this point, we can only get through 2 cars or 2 lanes worth of cars at once. And then we can go back out to the 4 lanes if we feel like it. Now we're rolling along back out here. And that's all very well, but now we've already gone through the slow point. So this is the key, okay? Now this is called inferior constraints, where you like gold wrap the constraint. But let's call it the pace setter or the scarce resource. Why is that? Because when you say you're the constraint, everyone has a go at you. You're the constraint, the process, you're the problem, all those sort of words. Instead, let's call it the pace setter, okay? Because this section of the road determines the pace of the whole show. Pace setter. A bit more polite, and it might even encourage the sort of behaviours we want, which is what can we do to actually help the pace setter instead of yelling at them that they're not good enough. So here's my question. Let's say we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 cars that we need to get through to this point over here, which is our goal. Some sort of version of maybe it's gross profit, maybe it's actually value to the community, whatever it might be. That's our goal. We achieve the goal, we get to send an invoice or make it a metaphorical value invoice. We provided something to a citizen if we're in government every time a car gets through to here. So here's my question. How would you line up these cars in order to maximize their speed through it? And the answer is probably obvious. We would line them up like this. Okay? We take those 4 cars out of there. We line them up here like this. And we tell them to put the foot down because now we've got maximum speed. Now this all makes sense, right? It looks really obvious, but why doesn't it happen? And I'll tell you why it doesn't happen. You've done this yourself. If you're in traffic and let's say that you're in a hurry, maybe because that's your nature, or maybe because you've got an external reason why you're in a hurry. So what are you going to do if you're this person? You're going to come up to here, you're going to do that, you're going to politely indicate, illusion, you're being polite, and you're going to sneak your car into here. What has happened? This car has had to slow down. Even if they didn't slow down, didn't let you in, their mind has been taken away temporarily from driving fast through this point here. So either way, you've caused a delay. You've caused an issue in the system. And this is what's going to happen throughout your organization. And here's the key. It's not because the person in this car and the person in this car are bad. It's because they're good. It's because they genuinely believe that the work they've been given or the work they've thought of adds value to the goal of the organisation. So what they're going to do is they're going to bring it through. They're going to see available capacity in these 2 lanes here. That might be a person sitting there running the lane and they're going to say, do you mind if I do some work? And if you're the person who is in charge of this lane and you see your lane being open, you're going to say, come on through, because you don't want to be standing around being idle. Because you tell me which culture, in which organisation, when people say, so how's work going? The acceptable answer is, I've got nothing to do, and that's how I'm helping the whole organisation. So it's human nature that will always come through here, we'll always slow down the system, and we'll get this done, which means we need to be correcting for human nature itself. That's why CEOs, general managers, senior people, anyone with authority have to give people the confidence that if you're running one of the lanes, it's okay for your lane to be idle. And if you're actually driving one of these cars, if you've got a project, to wait your turn. Which means we all need to get together and have a discussion about which order we are putting these in. It's as simple as that. I'm not saying that discussion is easy, But let's not try to make it complex what we're trying to do here. It is quite simple. We are trying to line up these cars in the order that creates the most value over here. That's going to be a tricky discussion, but it's the discussion that has to happen. Don't worry about your fancy organizational designs and all these different ways of putting things together, agility or whatever you want to call it. That stuff's all useful down the track. But the key thing is to work out what's the pace setter and make sure that we are lining up our work so we can maximize speed through the pace setter. Don't make the mistake of thinking Eli Goldrat's work is just something that applies to manufacturing in 1984. They're fundamental principles about how we get work done. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn, you can like. You can get in touch with me if you'd like me to have a chat in your organization, and I'll see you next time.